talk to yourself as 6 months from now, you, and have that version of you ask, was it obvious that Bitcoin was going to be going up? Because, I feel like we get to these sort of moments every cycle where it's just like, you want to just shake people. Like, look at what's happened.
Bitcoin has had its doubters since the beginning. Every cycle, skeptics write it off, claiming it's overvalued, a bubble, or just another speculative fad. But as Richard Byworth points out time and time again, those who wait on the sidelines are left regretting it. The opportunity is often obvious in hindsight, but the challenge is seeing it clearly in the present moment. The U.S. government's evolving stance on Bitcoin and its adoption on a global scale are signals of what's to come.
I said, look, this is historic. This is absolutely historic. We had never expected that the United States would be making this step. We always thought it was going to be, El Salvador and Bhutan and, no disrespect to those countries, but they are small countries. Yeah. And, maybe I always said Switzerland will be the first of the sort of developed nation countries, just because they are much more forward thinking in the way that they manage the Swiss National Bank's treasury. But the United States, the powerhouse of the Western economy, I mean, Jesus Christ, like you cannot have a more bullish thing happen.
Bitcoin is no longer just a niche investment or a hedge against traditional finance. It's becoming an integral part of global monetary policy. The United States, long perceived as hesitant toward Bitcoin, is now taking a major step toward embracing it. The implications of this are massive. If the world's largest economy begins incorporating Bitcoin into its strategic reserves, the demand for Bitcoin will skyrocket, and the limited supply will only drive prices higher.
Bitcoin is in 4-year cycles, and obviously that's punctuated with a halving in the supply. So at this point, post the halving that we had, I think it was April last year, you had 3.5 million Bitcoin on exchanges. We were at peaking bull market, 69,000 or wherever it was we got to. And you had a significant amount more Bitcoin. Now you've had even more Bitcoin be issued, and you've got, as I say, that 2.3 million Bitcoin that's just been taken out of supply. Now, we've only got 1.05 million Bitcoin left to be issued to the network over the next 115 years. 115 years it's going to take to issue that remaining Bitcoin. So you suddenly realize we've had 2.3 million taken out of supply over the last 4 years. There's only 2.3 million remaining in liquid supply, and there's 1.05 million ever to be issued again. So
scarcity is what sets Bitcoin apart. Unlike fiat currencies that can be endlessly printed, or even gold, which sees increased mining efforts when prices rise, Bitcoin's supply is mathematically locked. The impact of this is already evident. More and more Bitcoin is being pulled from exchanges and placed into long-term storage, leaving fewer available for buyers. As demand continues to rise, the price will adjust accordingly.
Bitcoin, is just a superior asset to gold in every aspect. And if you look at, I don't know what the gold market cap is today, but maybe 16, 18 trillion. Bitcoin needs to go to $700,000-800,000 to match that, but it's better than gold.
The idea that Bitcoin could replace gold is no longer a fringe belief. By nearly every metric, portability, divisibility, security, and scarcity, Bitcoin outperforms gold. If Bitcoin were to capture even a portion of gold's $18 trillion market cap, its price would multiply several times over. Investors who still see gold as the ultimate hedge may be missing out on the real revolution happening right in front of them.
The younger generation are going to inherit 10 to 20% of the world's wealth, and they don't care about having a shiny rock sitting in their safe. They're much more comfortable with a digital asset.
The generational shift in investment preferences is another crucial factor in Bitcoin's rise. Younger investors have grown up in a digital world, and Bitcoin fits seamlessly into their vision of a decentralized, technology-driven financial system. Unlike gold, which requires physical storage and transport, Bitcoin can be moved instantly across borders. This shift in mindset is reshaping the future of money.
And so trying to just distill it into those three sentences is almost impossible, which is why so many people in finance who are in very senior, very established positions in finance, really don't get to the point of completely getting it, because they're like, okay, it just sounds very ethereal. It doesn't, it's not substantive. It's not backed by anything. It's not like gold, which is a nice shiny metal that has utility. They don't go much further than that. And so I think it's easy to dismiss it.
Many in the traditional financial world still fail to grasp Bitcoin's significance. They struggle to understand how an asset with no physical form can hold value, yet they overlook the fact that Bitcoin is backed by something unique: mathematical scarcity and an immutable ledger. These same critics have dismissed Bitcoin at every stage of its journey, only to watch it prove them wrong time and time again.
The price of Bitcoin has led moves in the S&P 500 and QQQ and like other risk assets. So like if Bitcoin reverts, those other assets are behind it, and which is pretty fascinating.
Bitcoin is becoming more than just an asset. It's a leading indicator for broader financial markets. As the most liquid and freely traded asset in the world, Bitcoin often moves before traditional markets react. Institutional investors have started to recognize this, further solidifying Bitcoin's role in global finance. The more Bitcoin integrates into traditional markets, the harder it becomes to ignore. So what have we learned? Bitcoin is at a critical turning point. With the United States recognizing its value, demand is set to explode. Its fixed supply ensures that as adoption increases, so does its price. Traditional investors, still clinging to outdated notions of gold supremacy, are beginning to realize that Bitcoin is the superior store of value. The next generation of wealth holders prefers digital assets, and institutional investors are increasingly treating Bitcoin as an essential part of a diversified portfolio. The financial world is changing, and Bitcoin is leading that transformation. If history is any guide, those who wait too long will look back and regret it.
You'd really be very remiss not to have Bitcoin in your portfolio if you hold gold.
The writing is on the wall. Bitcoin's scarcity, growing adoption, and institutional interest are all pointing toward a massive price increase in the near future. 6 months from now, many will look back and wonder why they didn't buy when they had the chance. Will you be one of them? Let us know in the comments. Do you think Bitcoin is truly the new gold, or are we still underestimating its potential? And as always, thanks for watching.